May, I'm sorry, I know it's late, but, Mrs. Brazendale is quite upset.
It's her nerves, sir. She'll feel better once she spends some time at the spa.
Yes. Could you go to her, please? I'll finish that for you.
Mind your shirt, sir. The wax goes everywhere.
I don't know what I'm going to do without you. The nurse they've hired has a smile like a brass plate on a coffin.
Do you want me to come instead?
I'd love you to. But she's had special training. They're very medical in London. But, well...
Oh, if it's what the doctors want for you.
Besides, I need you here to hold the fort. The linen needs looking over. And the chandelier men will make a dreadful mess.
I'll have it all cleared up by the time we get you home.
You don't think I'm foolish, do you? Having it electrified?
Everything else in the house is electric. And it makes things so much cleaner.
Things are always better when they're clean. I'm going to stick it out, you know. I won't just run away and turn up on the doorstep.
That's the girl.
Will you get me some pins when you go to the shops?
I'm not going to the shops.
You said we needed mints.
We do need mints, but I don't want to fetch it. People are talking about me in the wedding. When I walk past, I can hear him going quiet.
I'll kill our Billy.
What's he done now?
Robbed the laces out my measuring garment. Oh, he's nicked the spear set too, and I've Mrs. Dodd booked in. Where do you think you're going?
Nowhere. Can you mend my epaulets before the 12th?
Get your boots off now. Corset, laces. And you've cut them? Then you wonder why the tea rose pink.
He said they were chemically treated to stop them getting frayed.
I smell mothballs.
They've been in store since the summer of 14.
It's Mrs. Dodd. Someone answered the door. I've not got my face on.
What face?
My corseteer's face.
The one where she looks like there's a wasp stuck up her nostril. You're soft, please. Oi, I can't believe you made me wear these. They're pink.
This isn't 1889. You're lacing down to 22 inches.
Well, I can, you see. I've never had a child.
I'm not surprised. Extreme tight lacing can displace the lower ribs.
I never knew ribs came into it.
Female organs are all below the waist. The knock-on effects are very damaging indeed.
The truth is, it's nothing to do with the female organs. The only reason the sergeant hasn't given me a child is because he hasn't really tried.
Step out of your petticoat if you would.
You're shocked, aren't you?
Nothing shocks me. I've been on a training course.
Is that what happened to Iris? I've heard people talking. Couldn't the magician pull the rabbit out of the hat? I'm sorry.
Your waist's too compressed and you've displaced your pelvis.
Do you think that's why I get these moods? Why I say unpleasant things I just don't mean? I even say things I don't mean to the sergeant. And then I wonder why he's an inattentive husband.
Have you ever heard the expression vicious circle, Mrs. Dodd?
I scream sometimes. I wait in the yard till the 9 o'clock hooter, and then I scream and scream until it's stopped. That way no one notices. Can you get me one that makes it better? Is there a corset that stops you from screaming?
There's a corset for everything, Mrs. Dodd.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're busy. I'll go to the breakfast room.
Oh, you're all right. I'm nearly done for now. I've got to go out for some spirits of ammonia.
Where would you go to buy that?
The ironmongers usually, or a big department store like Bunny's.
We've an account at Bunny's. If I were to give you my business card, you could nip in and get some. Go and put your hat on and I'll drive you there.
Drive me? To get spirits of ammonia?
It's Saturday afternoon and I am bored to tears, stuck alone in this house. Go and fetch your hat. And if it's a particularly pretty one, I'll take you to tea.
I got you the mince. As for my prime cut, I think the butcher picked it specially. Send you his regards. Oh, love.
I want it to be done with.
It is done with.
Not as a topic of conversation. Not as a reason for pity and looks. Parcels of prime cut mince. I'd rather eat grizzle. I'd rather never eat at all.
Well, you have to stop all this crying, Iris.
Why?
Pencil.
Get used to this.
It's no less than that gorgeous hat deserves.
Thank you. Or perhaps I should thank Mrs. Brazendale. It's her hat, and her dress, and her gloves. In fact, the only thing I'm lacking is a string of pearls. There are quite a few single strands on show. It provides a perfect finish to an open collar blouse. Milk?
Please.
The ladies by the potted palm are French, having a very animated conversation.
I didn't know you spoke French.
Cette sauce de haute qualité est un mélange spécial de fruits orientaux, d'épices et du vinaigre de malt.
Is that a quote from a poem?
It's off the HB sauce bottle. My mother was in service to a French sea captain's wife. She made us memorise the words and she taught us how to say them properly.
I'll see what we've got in the kitchen. Right, madam, I'll see what we've got.
Richard! Claude. Miss Moss, may I introduce Mr. Claude Freeman? Mr. Freeman, this is Miss Moss.
Aren't we acquainted already? Your face is terribly familiar. Ah, tea. The cup that cheers but does not inebriate. Huh. Aren't you going to ask me to join you in a cup?
Pull up a chair. Miss Moss is being mother.
Another cup and saucer, please.
And where is the lovely Madeleine today?
Llandindrod Wells.
Oh, nerves or kidneys?
Nerves.
Llandudno's meant to be the place for nerves these days, although I can't imagine why. You'd think they'd break down there out of sheer depression. Oh! Strike up the band. What is it this time?
That's Cherry Ripe.
Of course it is. That's right. You're not Miss Moss at all. You are Eugénie Clergerie, the charming but elusive burlesque artiste. Good God, Richard, you're quite the dark horse.
I'm sorry, Mr. Freeman. I think you've mistaken me for somebody else.
No. No, I never forget a face. It's my portrait artist training, you see. Not so long ago, Miss Moss. Or is it Miss Clergerie? Not so long ago, you sang Cherry Ripe at a gentleman's smoker. Deshabillé, but for a crimson corset. Yes, and Richard was there and enjoyed it just as much as I.
I think Miss Moss was hoping to take tea incognito.
Ha! So you admit it's her. Well, you were the best turn we'd had in months. We tried to book you again, but your agency said you were declining all engagements.
Never meant to make a career of it. I was simply helping out a friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's simply heartbreaking. Well, if you change your mind, I do hope you'll come to me. I'm a photographer with interest in the entertainment business. Richard.
Claude.
He thinks I'm a stripper. And he thinks you're someone who takes strippers out for tea.
Well, I am someone who takes strippers out for tea.
Oh.
Mate, stop! Stop!
Oh, you knew! You knew! You sat there watching me do that. You sat there laughing and whistling with your friends. And you didn't say a word. Not to them then, or to me afterwards.
I didn't want to give the game away.
In what way was it a game, Mr. Brazendale?
Well, no one was holding a gun to your head.
How do you know?
I don't know, I suppose. Hang on. Why am I practically apologizing to you when you were up on stage, prancing around in your undergarments, bringing my household into disrepute?
Oh, what sort of disrepute? Was I doing the dance of the Seven Veils with a load of your monogram napkins? Besides, what manner of man goes to burlesque cabarets, leaving a sick wife crying in the house?
Everyone gets a night off sometimes.
Do they, Mr. Brazendale? See, that's funny, because you've cancelled all my spare time for a fortnight!
Which is probably a good job, because heaven knows what you'd get up to.
Oh, yeah? I might just go out stripping, or I might go out for tea with you!
May, this behaviour is not appropriate.
You're hardly an authority on what's appropriate.
I am your employer!
Not anymore! You could shove your scabby job. I'd rather make my hands bleed down the bobbing works.
May you come back right this moment, or you will be dismissed without a reference.
And you could shove your spirit of ammonia and all!
Frank, you sound like a cinder stuck underneath the door.
There's mould in the mouthpiece, Sergeant, and I think the damp's got into it.
You're no bloody better.
Well, give him your flute, let him have your drum.
No. If there's a drum going begging, I've got first dibs.
Get your own bloody drum. There's been a dud on this landbag since Prince Albert was alive.
Did a triangle do nothing?
What? Look, I need to keep my hands free. I am in charge of keeping time.
You're better off on the pianola.
You can't play the pianola in a marching band.
Could always put him on rollers.
You don't have to do that to make this lodge a laughing stock.
Hello, May.
What's going on?
Band practice for the 12th. The gas has gone off in Victoria Hall.
Mrs. Quirk's enjoying it.
Chips, pie for Daddy, another chips, and a cod and two for Sergeant Dodd.
Any J's fluid?
By the sink.
All right, mate.
All right, Frank.
Last time I saw you, you were in a bridesmaid's dress.
Frank?
You have a chip?
No, thanks. I don't want to spoil my dinner.
This is our dinner.
Chips. In their paper.
There was mince, but I burnt it.
Any HP sauce? Go on, mate. You know you want to.
I close my eyes, and no rest comes. I close them and a vision of horror rises. Our loyal Star Garson banner nibbled at the edge by moths. Our bond depleted by the war to end all wars.
It's the first proper march since 1914. Everyone will be struggling.
The Breckroad apprentice boys have got themselves a real King Billy, complete with a costume from Belfast and a wig of human hair.
That's what they're saying. They'll have a little lad on a hobby horse, just the same as us.
Don't even get me started on the hobby horse. And would you lay off that squeeze box?
This was Walter's.
I know it was. And he was shite at playing it as well.
We need a bit of new blood, that's all.
What do you mean, that's all?
You can't not come to Mass, it's Sunday.
In which case, it'll be packed to the rafters. All the more reason for me to stay at home.
Father Mila keeps asking after you.
Oh.
Where do you go?
Back to Norrie's court. For some flaming peace and quiet. I'd like Princess Park 49, please. Mr. Claude Freeman. Coffee is served, sir.
May, I'm sorry if I raised my voice to you.
I spoke out of turn, sir, and I apologise.
Am I right in assuming that you tendered your resignation during the course of our conversation in the lane?
Yes, sir, I did.
I would ask you to consider remaining, at least until Mrs. Brazendale returns.
I wouldn't want to leave her in the lurch, sir.
That's extremely kind of you. In the meanwhile, I shall lunch at the office and I will dine at my club. So you will be free from early afternoon each day. I hope that will prove agreeable.
Thank you, sir, I will.
Oh, and I telephoned Bunnies. They're sending you over some more spirits of ammonia.
Come on, Peter. I spoke to your mommy. I'm not just doing it for sweets. No, you're not. You're doing it for Garston.
My face has changed in colour. I look like I've pinched my cheeks.
You would. The corsets rearrange the flexion of your ribs. Now walk to the pianola while I look at your suspenders. Very slenderising effect, especially along the hip. Now try sitting down.
I can bend my backside.
It's a feature of the spiral stay. Stand up and turn around.
Will the sergeant like it, do you think?
It's for the good of your health, Mrs. Dodd.
For walking on the King's Highway.
Mr. Moss. Peter O'Connor, Paul O'Connor, Patrick Mulholland, your mother's what you owe.
I'm sorry, sir. I never heard you knock.
I'm not surprised.
Nobody twisted their arm.
Yeah, he gave us some Uncle Joe's mint balls.
I don't care whose balls he gave you.
Oh! Right! Fenium bastards, at it again.
Just like old times, eh?
Are you on or off duty, Sergeant Dodd?
Well, I'm on now. Willful damage, that is.
Someone could do time for that.
What difference does it make? You're all each other's prisoners.
Eddie? I wonder what time you were coming home.
Well, not yet, obviously. Shouldn't you be getting our tea?
I wasn't sure what you fancied.
Look at this.
I'm sure this was bigger before the war. Looks like there's woodworm in its eye and all.
Lick of paint will sort it out. Cheer up. We'll be getting spat at soon.
There used to be pitched battles of 100 men against 100 men, armed with slates and yards of lead piping.
It's been a proper war fought now. Times change.
I know times change, and don't think I'm sorry. Cockeyed, mouldering article! For 2 pence, I would set a match to that.
It wouldn't burn, it's wringing wet with damp.
I know! It's wringing wet with damp! My father gave me almost nothing. No education, no trade, just a name. And a roof and some food until I was of an age to work. And now I don't live where he lives. And I don't do the job that he did. I don't even drink like the bastard anymore. But one day a year, boy, the 12th of July, I walk in his shoes because I am my father's son. And you are the grandchild of the man you never met.
I know. The occasion needs its dignity.
He played the lambeg drum. Ever tell you that?
Once or twice.
It ought to stab me in my heart to see that sergeant hammering away. But I am generous by nature, so it doesn't.
Much.
Are you Miss Moss? Yes. Sir, Miss Moss.
You shall have my devoted attention in precisely 7 seconds. Yes. I'm so pleased you came. It seems quite improper to ask it on such short acquaintance, but would you mind removing your chapeau? Sorry, it means hat in French.
Oh, of course. Forgive me. Your accent's a little different from my mother's.
Oh, your mother's?
Oh, she was from Marseille. My father was a sea captain, and they met when his ship was docked there for repairs.
Yes. You've a delicate jaw, quite lovely eyes, and the most exquisite neck. I have 2 words to say to you, my dear. Hair food. Madame Rose of the Melisande Coiffeur Clinique has commissioned a set of advertising cards.
Oh, that's nice.
No, it isn't. It's like punishment for something we've both done in our past lives. You have been tremendous. I want you to take a look at an article in this magazine. It's called Acting for Moving Pictures.
It's not something I'd ever thought of doing.
Oh, you'd be mad not to consider it. You're the image of Lilian Gish, but with much better lips.
But where would I go? What would I do?
You'd come here on Friday. And in the meantime, read.
There's cake in the tin.
I'm not one for cake. In fact, I hate cake. Iris, I miss you. I sit in a confessional on a Friday night. I don't hear your voice. During Mass, I scan the pews. I see Ruby, but you're not there.
I can't come to church, Father Mealy.
Why not? Well, if I miss you, I don't know what God's going through. Sometimes he does things that cause offense. He doesn't stop hurt from happening. He lets secrets be kept and lies be told.
How do you know?
Because I see evidence on a daily basis. Besides, the Bible says that he made man in his own image. If God was perfect, we'd have all turned out better. And so would your marriage.
We don't talk about my marriage.
Well, you'd have had your happy ending. But God isn't perfect. Any more than you or I. Wedding cake. It's vile. It's dry. It's full of things I just can't stand. It's almost impossible to swallow. And now it's gone. It's dealt with. I can move on to different things.
Was it really that bad?
Nothing's that bad. Everything will pass. Now you come back to Mass. You've been missed.
Good lad. Good lad. Good lad. Right? Come on. Come on, Ed.
Love dawns. breastbone lightly as though unconscious of the gesture. Love dies. Despair. Despair.
It's a fresh wound, this. He's been tailored by the leg, so he has.
Question is, by who?
We don't know, Abe. He didn't have a collar on.
Fresh porters every day, and he'll do us proud.
You reckon it'll do then?
A real white stallion at the head of our parade. Bugger, the Break Road Apprentice boys.
Bugger the wig of human hair.
I will have one of them on her. And a King Billy. Costume complete in every detail.
Where from?
And we'll put them both on the boiler.
I'm simply saying, it isn't our horse.
It's only on a border.
Somebody's got to take the moral overview. I wear a uniform for work.
You're a park keeper.
Sergeant Dodd isn't a park keeper.
It's his lodge too. He wouldn't grass on us.
He'd grass on his own brother. How do you think he got his stripes?
We'll keep the horse down here. Come at 12, we'll produce him. We'll say we hired him off a farm or something like that there. After the march, we'll let him loose again.
Which emotion do you want first?
Well, we could start with excitement and build to a climax.
That wasn't in the magazine.
Daisy, fetch Miss Moss a screwdriver, will you?
What do I want a screwdriver for?
You'll see.
What's that?
Coal. Coal. To make your eyes burn. Yes. Chin chin. Will you have another?
Well, it was mostly umbrella.
You're lying there, fast asleep. You stir. A pleasant dream fades from your memory as you wake. Your mouth still tastes of last night's wine. You look around you. The Viscount has now gone, and you are not familiar with this room. You go to the door. You rattle the handle. It is locked. And you are in despair. Oh, bravo. Nice touch, sinking to your knees.
Actually, my legs are tired.
Oh, go on. Ask me in.
I can't. Mrs. Brazendale doesn't approve of you.
Mrs. Brazendale is in Landed Rod Wells.
Woo!
What was that for?
Virtue insulted. It was in the magazine.
I don't want you seeing Claude Freeman again. He's not to be trusted.
Isn't he? At least he brought me safely back. When I went out with you, I had to walk the 6 miles home.
Get in the house now. And use the side door. You know the rules.
I want you to see the results of your handiwork. I want you to see what the spiral stay has done for me.
What's happened to your brassiere?
He ripped it.
But it's made from a very high tensile silk.
I want 2 more and 2 more corsets. 1 on, 1 in the drawer and 1 in the wash.
What time do you call this?
All right. Had a wasted afternoon, haven't I? Telephone call from detectives. Racehorse, Russell the radar. Hunters Tinkers up at Spee. They might have had their hands in it.
Tinkers, eh? They'd rob the socks off your feet.
All the way to Speaking back on me bike. If they ever had a racehorse, they haven't got one now. Should have been at home. With the wife. Having me tea at leisure. Oh.
Bad back, Sergeant. Be careful with that drum.
Hey, I'm fine with the drum. Mr. Moss.
Hello, darling.
I knew he was a thoroughbred. The tinkers will have been working to commission. They want him back now, otherwise they won't get a penny.
Aren't you coming?
I'm going to see a man about your costume.
What sort of man?
He stokes the boiler at Liverpool Playhouse.
May, darling, Daisy's fanning away to beat the band, and you don't look as if you're particularly warm.
I'm boiling hot.
How about if you dispense with the tunic?
I'm not that hot.
I'm worried that the tunic will make you look fat.
Good fella. Doing all right. Good lad. Good lad. Good lad.
For Christ's sake, May, you look like boredom on a monument.
I'm doing what you said. I'm thinking of my lover far away at the Trojan Wars.
They didn't have corsets in the Trojan Wars.
Well, that's too bad, because I didn't pack my birthday suit.
Daisy, pass me the powder puff, please. And go to the kitchen and get me a knife. You're back. You're perspiring like a pig.
I regret there's no answer from the Freeman residence.
Stay quiet.
Take it in. Right, you're all
I've known Catholic girls before. Do you want to spend the rest of your life locked inside your inhibitions? Do you want to squander every gift that God gave you, all because you're afraid to surrender? And unbend.
Not particularly.
Then perhaps this will help.
There's none left over.
So have mine. I've work to do. Knife first.
Move in, move in.
See that? Get that. Get around the back. Get around the
Mr. Freeman is not at home
bunch of visitors.
Who let you in?
One of your victims. Come on, let's get you up. I'm taking you home.
Where's your charger? Tied up outside.
This is the front door.
Yes.
We can't keep him here. You're gonna have to take him to the dairy, Mr. Moss.
And do what? Paint black patches on him and say he's a cow? Besides, the sergeant calls by every morning when I'm milking.
If he sees us trying to hide it, he'll know it's the wrong one. Probably think we nicked it in the first place.
But who exactly are we hiding it from? The Tinkers or the police?
The Tinkers and the bloody police.
And A.B. Lee. You can't trust a man who takes the moral overview.
The best place for him is here, with the door locked.
But we've got band practice on Monday night.
We'll move him on Monday night.
Can't we just return him to the wild? The hobby horse has its good points.
The hobby horse has got woodworm. It's got wet rot. It's no better than a child's toy, Frank, and on the 12th we march as men.
Why are you there?
Because I blame myself.
You shouldn't feel guilty. You did try to warn me off him.
I could have tried harder. I could have simply forbidden you from seeing him. I could have even told you the whole truth.
Why didn't you?
Because I was trying to pretend that I didn't care.
You didn't pretend last night. You cared then.
Yes. More than I can ever say.
is where I first sat with Domingo. This is where we laughed and ran outside. This is where we touched each other's hands.
You need to say that, don't you?
I need to say that a terrible thing happened. I need to say that I saw love and a future and children and a life that was my own. And all that came crashing down because the man who I thought would make it all possible just couldn't.
It had to be acknowledged, Iris. You couldn't go on never speaking of it.
No.
Iris, I've made the first inquiries about having your marriage annulled. Word will have to come from Rome. It will take time, but it can be dissolved. Legally, absolutely, and in the eyes of God. Because the thing that had to happen to make it a marriage never did.
Will I feel better than this?
Yes, you will.
And so you can read the whole label to me in French.
Did you go out and get that specially?
No, I telephoned Bunnies.
I never knew you were an HP man.
Madeline won't let me have it in the house. You know, I still remember the first time I tasted it.
Was it in the army when you were a Sandhurst?
No. It was just before my father died. He told me to take him to a particular pub. The Baltic Fleet by Herculaneum Dock.
The Baltic Fleet?
It was ages since he'd been well enough to want to do anything. So I ran and told the chauffeur to get the motor ready. We turned a few heads when we pulled up outside, I can tell you. He was so weak, I practically had to carry him through the door. So then we found a table, and he said to the barmaid, "Bring me the biggest bowl of scouse you've got." And she did. And there was a bottle of HP on the side. And he poured it all over his scouse. And then he ate the way he hadn't eaten in 6 months.
But why? Why the Baltic Fleet? A man like him?
Because when he was a child, he used to stand outside in his bare feet, waiting for his mum to come out of the bar. And he was driven mad by the smell of the scouse that they sold in there.
I never knew.
That my father was a self-made man.
And now you're a gentleman.
Yes. Why did you come back?
After I told you could keep your scabby job.
I wasn't going to mention it, but yes.
We'd had such a lovely afternoon till then. I'd been listening to the music, watching all the women in their pearls, wanting their pearls. And when I got home, I knew I couldn't bear to live there. I should have stayed away after going out for tea. I shouldn't even be here now. But there's this thing you do when you're a kid. And you're playing out. and you want to break the rules, but you can't afford to come to harm. So you cross your fingers on both hands and you say, Barley. So I did that. And I thought I'd be all right. Don't be Mrs. Brazendale.
Ow.
For God's sake, Eddie, give the drum to me.
This is all your fault, you know. You and your underpinnings. You're late.
Is Mr. Mawson there?
He's late at all. Yeah, but hang on, Moss is a dog doctor, not a people doctor.
Is she? And you don't need an appointment.
I am out and round, so she doesn't have to bend his spine. The legs on the faster. I should have to take a poker to get it cauterized.
What's going on?
I'm tending this horse. He has an injured leg.
We're just going to hide it here until the march.
What do you mean, hide it? I'm sorry, he's with a sick animal.
I brought him another one. Can we wait?
You've gone beyond anything my dad can do. You're in need of a special support.
She's got corsets for everything.
Of course, it's put me in this state.
Get him on his feet.
Oh, all right. You're all right, lad. Good lad.
I'll have to use my knee. Eddie, get up!
I can't get up.
I'll fetch fresh laces.
You'll fetch an ambulance.
Welcome home, madam.
It's such a harsh, flat light.
Ah, it's electric, Mrs. Brazendale. You can't really tell when it's sunny outside.
My main reservation is that it wouldn't be flattering. Still, look at this. He was like a schoolboy. He gave them to me the minute I walked in. Fasten them for me, there's a love.
Mr. Brazendale should be doing this.
He's upstairs running me a bath. Putting you out of a job.
Please. I really don't think that you should go without discussing matters. Please. Will you come back inside the house?
Would that be through the front door or the side door? And please note, I'm not calling you sir. Thank you. That's all the information I need.